I've been tracking time since the day that we parted, hoping that you got all the things that you wanted. I know time flies, you moved on, yeah, I got it. But I'm still here wondering if you've been honest, 'cause baby, what we had in our hearts was the rawest. I know I shouldn't call, but I can't help but falling. 'Cause baby, you changed me, I know by now. And now I am better in days somehow. I don't know if I'm wise, but can we at least talk now?
Hey guys, we are back. This is Faith, of course. If you don't already know who I am, welcome on into my channel. I was just trying to check my Wi-Fi, make sure that was okay. But welcome on into my channel. I epically failed probably about 30 minutes ago or whenever this was. Whenever I tried to go live again, I tried to use my hotspot, but I wasn't sure if it was skipping or breaking up too bad. I did hear a little bit of a skip in my headphones, so I'll just figure like I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it, and we're just going to have to do the pre-recorded version of this one. So like I said, welcome back. I am continuing along this path whenever it pertains to the car. I am continuing along this path whenever it pertains to celebrity charts. I'm glad that you guys are tuning into this. I know it is completely different, maybe not 100% different, because I've always incorporated numerology and astrology, even in my tarot readings, which I still do tarot readings, but a lot of you guys already know that because you've been visiting my website. But if you are new here, I do have a website, okay? You can find all that information in the description box below. Coming to you this weekend will be weekly horoscopes. So if you also are not subscribed to the Patreon or the Vault, you may miss the weekly horoscopes that will be in depth. Now, of course, I will do a mini horoscope one for you guys because I know you guys like the mini horoscopes because I also incorporate angel messages. But yes, so it may seem like it's a little bit different from how I originally started the channel, which is completely fine. Okay, I started a channel completely just based off of tarot readings, and I kind of threw myself out there in the middle of the ocean and was just like, you know what, sink or swim. And I did that. I swam. But the thing is, sometimes you swim to a different destination. And that's exactly what I feel like I'm doing in a manner. I'm kind of swimming to a different destination. Now, like I said, I've always incorporated this stuff in my readings and like that. But I'm learning, and this is a fun thing for me to like learn about. But also, I am here to possibly help you guys as well. I'm not the most seasoned astrologer, and I'm still learning a lot. But we'll start here and we'll work our way out. So enough of me rambling. So continuing along this streak, this video is going to be a request. Of course, most of these videos are going to be a request unless I just hop on here and be like, oh, I thought of this today. But I do plan on doing a series, or I don't know, a series or a couple of videos in the future on our founding fathers if you are in the United States. So we have George Washington, we have Thomas Jefferson. I did a little bit of Abraham Lincoln whenever I looked at his purpose or his destiny. So I might have to do a full in-depth chart whenever it pertains to Abraham Lincoln, because when I looked at his chart the last time, I picked up that possibly Abraham Lincoln was sneaking into people's camps during the middle of the night. And yeah, but we'll talk about that. And then I possibly plan on doing a video or videos as well when it pertains to Harriet Tubman. I don't even know if I want to go the route when it pertains to Christopher Columbus, but we're going to get maybe a little bit historical. So if you guys don't like history, now is the time for you to unsubscribe, log off, because I like history. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Maybe do a little bit Pablo Picasso, maybe look at Frida Kahlo. Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, yeah, we may go down that road, guys. There's so many things that I can do when it pertains to this. Whereas sometimes when it comes to tarot, sometimes it may be a little bit limited. Of course, I can do this with tarot, but I just like the mathematical breakdown when it pertains to these natal charts. Okay. So, like I said, enough of me rambling. As requested, this reading today is going to be over Whitney Houston. Yes, the Whitney Houston. What they call her? Is it Nippy or no? Is that the mother, or is she Sissy? Is she Nippy? Was she Nippy or was she Sissy? I don't remember. But either way, none other than the once in a lifetime talent of Whitney Houston. Now, I mean, I was just about to say Tori Kelly has a voice on her, but she's severely underrated. But that, that's for another discussion. But Whitney Houston, it will be hard to not pick her out of a crowd. She is just that noticeable. Okay. So one thing you will not hear me do on this particular reading, I am not going to deny her talent. How could you? I mean, seriously, how could you? So I am not going to deny her talent. Now, I know some of you may definitely be thinking about Bobby Brown, which, of course, who wouldn't think about Bobby Brown when it pertains to Whitney Houston and their tumultuous relationship? And then they had the reality show. So we kind of looked at their relationship a little bit. But Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston's relationship chart will be saved for another day. There will be a part 2 to this particular reading. I can't make any promises because with the time being 5:08 p.m., where I'm at, I don't think I will be doing that tonight. But all is not lost. I will do another part to this and we'll look at their combined relationship together. And I'll also have to analyze Bobby Brown's chart as well. But for right now, let's take a look. Now, of course, this is going to go like I've did other readings in the past. Okay, you guys are at this point, you should know my routine. We're going to look at the day that she was born first. Of course, she is a Leo, but for me, that is just for database purposes, like how many Leos were actors, how many Leos were activists, how many Leos were doctors. That would be, to me, why the month would be important, but the month's not really important. The day is. So she is born on a 9-day. Now I have my astrology and numerology guide up here, which we'll look at in just a second. But if you are born on the 9th, the 18th, okay, or the 27th, then you may need to listen up because I will be pretty much talking about your energy when it pertains to the number 9. Okay. 9 is Mars. Mars is the fitness person, the sports person, the athlete, the entrepreneur, the law enforcement, the police, the popo, the officer. Okay. Mars is also, well, I think Mars is jurisdiction, but that's just me. Mars is possibly the chef, the doctor, the engineer. We can't forget that Mars is tied to weaponry. Okay, so military as well is included with the number 9. These individuals who are born on the 9th day or whose birth date breaks down to a number 9, they could be possibly good military personnel. Them and probably those born on days ruled by the sun, which would be the 1st, the 10th, the 4th, the 13th, the 19th. I think, yeah, the 19th, the 22nd, and I'm drawing a blank on the other numbers, but yes. So now, after we go over our astrology and numerology guide here, I'm going to take a look when it pertains to her Mars. What planet, or excuse me, what sign is her Mars placed in, and what house? Now, the great thing is we have an exact birth time for Whitney Houston. That's even better. Okay, literally. It just makes my heart sing. Okay. Now, I don't know why my thing isn't. Hopefully my thing is working this whole time. There we go. Either way, hold on. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with my blue thing. It's not lighting up blue like it normally does. There it goes. So hopefully this thing is going, or I'm gonna be a little bit sad because it looks like it's still recording. So I don't know why the thing around this is not showing blue like it normally does whenever the microphone is working. Hold on, let me unplug. Hello, hello, hello. Well, at this point, it's just going to be what it's going to be. So hopefully you guys are hearing this, okay? But either way, so after I look at the astrology and numerology guy, I'm going to take a look whenever it pertains to where her, like I said, her Mars is placed, house as well as sign. Okay. We see now that she has Mars in Libra. So what does that mean? Mars is at home in Aries. We already know that. Mars belongs to Aries, it belongs to Scorpio. So when you look at the natal chart, like I've talked about before, all you do is you look at the opposite, the direct opposite sign for a planet's home. Okay, so if I'm at Aries' house, okay, me and Aries, we at the house, we chilling. That's where I'm at. That's home for me. Now the Aries may say, let's go over to Libra's house. And I'm like, because if we go over to Libra's house, we're not going to be comfortable there. Something may pop off that, won't be good for us. And I'm saying all that to say that Mars is in detriment in Libra. So we could say Whitney Houston's Mars is dysfunctional, or just, dysfunctional would probably be the word. So it's not a lose-lose, but she already in a way has somewhat of like an uphill or some sort of battle when it pertains to her day energy. Let's just call that her day energy. Her day energy is Mars. We see her Mars is in detriment in her chart in the 7th house of relationships, court battles. Okay. So we're already in a dysfunctional relationship, dysfunctional contracts, dysfunctional business agreements, dysfunctional business partners. Not saying that they can't turn around, but that's the energy that we're working with initially. So let's take a look at our astrology and numerology guide. Okay, so we're going to scroll on down to the number 9. And as you can see, right here, and I think I can highlight this. Hold on. I hope maybe I can't because I don't think my highlighter is on. Oh, nope, it's not on. Either way, that's fine. I might be able to highlight it on this page. No, I don't want to add an emoji reaction. Either way. So the highlights here, whenever it pertains to, there's the damn highlighter right there. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. We knew this. Well, I knew this. It's right there. What I want to make it. I'll give it yellow. There we go. Oh, that's bright. So here we go with the number 9. Okay, as you can see with our cheat sheet, and this is available on my website. Just go to my blog and it's under astrology cheat sheets. Okay, so number 9 is tied to Virgo. Now we know the thing whenever it pertains to Virgo is healing, Virgo is health, Virgo is the employee and the employer. Virgo is your routine. Virgo is your 9 to 5. It's your wellness. It's your pets. Those things, but there's also some more things signify that by that. But those things are, you get the point. Tied to Virgo. So with Virgo is specifically being 6th house, but also health, with her Mars being in detriment. Already, before we even possibly look at the chart, we could say her health is an issue. Her health could be in detriment, possibly multiple times. Probably wouldn't necessarily be a good idea for her to smoke, especially when it pertains to all that, inhaling and stuff like that. So her staying away from those particular things would definitely be good. Okay, especially whenever it pertains to her lungs, her lung capacity. Okay, almost gives me that energy here of maybe even, I don't know if there is a condition where it's like your lungs are suppressed. I don't know if that even happens, but I guess it could. But those may be some issues that she could face now that we see her Mars is not in a good spot. Okay, it's doable. It's not, like I said, it doesn't really care to be over there, but you can change this stuff around. It depends on your habits, because Virgo's habits, is your routine. So if you have bad, nasty habits, and then there's another thing as well. With her Mars being in detriment in Libra, she may have been somewhat of like a hoarder, or she may have possibly been somebody that may have lived in possibly nasty conditions, like not flushing the toilet, not cleaning up behind yourself, kind of like the energy, or not the energy, kind of like what you may see if you were to watch an episode of Hoarders. You guys know what it looks like if you've ever seen that show. If you've never seen it, just Google Hoarders TLC and you will be shocked. Okay. But the highlights here. So we got some good things here when it pertains to number 9. We have leadership, we have humor, we have compassion, we have selflessness, we have inspiration. She probably is a sucker for a good joke. She may even possibly have been somebody who really enjoyed comedy shows, in my opinion. But we could even say that laughter could have been a part of her routine, or it would have been good for her routine for her to have laughter. Now, she definitely has this selflessness energy here, which can definitely be good, inspiring. We all know that because, hey, I mean, who the hell was she not an inspiration to? That's a given. We do have this leadership type of energy, but again, with her, I hate to say it, with her Mars being in detriment, we could even say here that maybe in some type of way, she was a bad leader. Okay. But this can sometimes be this energy where it's almost just like, just follow me, because I just got a feeling. It's like, okay, we need a feeling rooted in fact a little bit, but I can see people blindly following her, probably because of her good sense of humor, her laughter. But this may even possibly, I don't know who I could give a good example of. Somebody who just don't know what the hell they're doing, but you follow them anyway because it's just like, oh my God, this person is funny. She may have had that type of energy surrounding her where people are following her, but they don't necessarily know what they're following. Okay. Especially when it probably comes to relationships. Now that we know her Mars is in not that great of a place in her 7th house of relationships, she may have been the one that wanted to be the leader. I would say on this one, she probably approaches her partners instead of them approaching her. She has that type of energy. She's very compassionate. Like when she wants something, then she may stop at nothing to get it. I mean, who knows? Like I said, you can't really fault her for that because that is a good quality to have, but it also depends on how you work with that. Okay. So then the challenges that we're looking at whenever it pertains to Whitney, we have rebellious soul, humiliation, self-importance, laziness. Now, if some Leos are listening to this, like I'm not a Leo, but I hail from a Leo father and I have a Leo sister, and there's a couple other Leos that are surrounding me. One thing I know you cannot do to a Leo, you cannot embarrass them, because that you're done. You are done. Do not embarrass, or even if they forgive you, because Leos can be very forgiving, but even if they forgive you, you guys' relationship will just never be the same. So with that being said, humiliation or being embarrassed, okay, are challenges that she would have to face. I mean, I would say even here, she's a perfectionist, or she was a perfectionist. So being humiliated, that possibly, humiliation can make you or break you. But I would say in this particular instance, knowing what I know right now, is that it broke her. It possibly pushed her further down a dark hallway because of that humiliation energy. Okay. And possibly whenever she got humiliated, then she would rebel because she doesn't know how possibly to effectively heal from this humiliation. Because remember, I said Virgo is healing. She would have to heal from this first before she could try again. But on the other end, if she's being pushed to do this or being pushed to do that by other people, it's kind of difficult to really sit back and heal this. Okay. And because she doesn't get a chance, or she didn't get a chance to do that, then like I said, now we run into that rebellious child. Okay. That rebellious, that's throwing things, okay, that is doing wild stuff because they don't know how to properly communicate or say that I'm hurt because I'm embarrassed. Okay. Challenges here will also be, it's weird that she has, the highlight is selflessness, but on the negative end, especially if we're talking about rebelliousness and humiliation, we have the ego. Self-importance, me, I. Remember I said here we have a leader, but may not necessarily be somebody who should be leading the crowd like that unless they've fought through rebelliousness, humiliation, self-importance, and laziness. Then we can follow you. If you haven't conquered these, I don't want to follow you. Okay. Laziness as well here. But that, I feel like for her, that probably ties into her rebelliousness. Like I said, I don't want to do anything. Literally, it's almost like a child falling out on the floor and you're like, get up. And they're just like, nope. Possibly that type of energy. Now, the lessons here for her, drop unrealistic expectations. And we would probably say when it pertains to love, like I said, relationships. Okay. But also learn to accept life as it is. She may not have really gotten that chance to do that. She may not have really gotten that chance to really see life for what it was because she is constantly having to be who? Whitney Houston, the performer, the actress, okay, the producer, okay, the talent, okay. So now that we've looked at that astrology and numerology guide, let's go on over to her chart. So now we are here when it comes to Whitney's chart. Okay. So we have, like I said, her Mars energy, that's the day that we're on, is in her 7th house of Libra. And it's only making one aspect, and it looks like it's making an aspect to her Venus in Leo. Okay. Now they say that Venus is in detriment or something like that in Leo, but I didn't see that on the sheet. It's kind of like a so-so, I would say, type of thing when it pertains to Venus in Leo. Okay. I'm actually about to put my computer on the ground because I can't keep holding that. But so now let's take a look at the degree that her Mars is on. Her Mars is on the 8th degree. Now let's go back here to our numerology guide and let's just scroll up one. Okay. So as you can see, we have her, the number 8 is tied to Leo. Isn't that ironic? Because Whitney Houston is a Leo. But again, since her Mars is in detriment, we need to focus right here. So let me take off the highlight for this one. None. And let's highlight this Leo number 8. We'll go pink. All right. No, that might be kind of hard to read. No, it's not. So maybe a little bit actually. Redo that. We'll go green or maybe a blue. Yeah, that blue's good. Okay, so we have again, and I'm looking at the number 8 because her Mars is on the 8th degree, which is, as you can see, tied to Leo. Now, challenges here could represent bullying, abuse, rigidity, vanity. Okay, now, of course, we know the lessons here. Find your inner strength. Do not let people do your dirty work. All right. So we may have a situation when it pertains to her Mars in Libra in the 7th house that she has her relationship, people that she's in a relationship with, do her dirty work because she doesn't want to get her hands dirty. No. Not Miss Whitney Houston. I don't want to get my hands dirty. I want you to get your hands dirty. And if you don't do it, she possibly gives me the vibe where she will probably send somebody to beat you up. Because remember, like I said, she does not want to get her hands dirty. So either her partner has to come beat you up, or who knows, maybe her brother or brothers or sisters or whatever the situation is. Okay. Most of the time it's her boyfriends. Okay. But it could be other people as well. Now, she may have been into fitness as well. But it's weird, like having a fit body, but you're not really working out like that. How do you do it? I don't know. But another thing here is stand up to things by just being yourself. Of course, the highlights are karma, power, passion, charm, organization, strength. Okay. But like I said, the challenges here are definitely alarming, because if she doesn't necessarily get what she wants when it pertains to a relationship, then bullying may possibly step in, or unfortunately, or allegedly abuse. Okay, she may even possibly, which I talked about before, may even possibly been somebody who could have been really vain when it pertains to her relationships. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so hopefully that's not the case when it pertains to Whitney Houston. But, like I said here, we just have to possibly go with the possibility that it could have happened. Okay. We will hope for that not to be the case, but it could have happened. And that's just based off of this, that we hadn't even looked at the degree yet. So let's take a look, shall we, at the 8th degree of Libra. Okay. I would say the vanity also may come from a place of, even though the world, because the 7th house is a very public house. Okay. It's a house of your open enemies, So even though outwardly speaking, people may have possibly said that she was beautiful, I don't necessarily know if she actually felt that on the inside. Okay. So maybe the vanity was actually a cover up, lack of confidence, maybe. So let me see. I gotta get my phone once I find it. So we have astrology resources. Number 8, Libra. Okay, so the 8th degree of Libra says fighting, quarrelsome, aggressive nature, many enemies. And a lot of it possibly came. So, I don't know if maybe people actually said this about her, but it is coming through as bully type of energy. Okay, it is coming through as a bully type of energy. Like she's going to fight, or like I said, I really feel like she's going to have other people fight for her. Okay. But I definitely do feel that, throughout her time, she probably likely battled some sort of illness. But I hate to say this, but I almost feel like she died from a broken heart. I know we know the story in terms of, what happened to her, but I feel the energy behind that is saying, my heart is broken. I'm alone. I don't have anybody. So that realization, those challenges that she was going to face, even just with that Mars energy, we haven't even looked at the sun or anything else. Those challenges there are bullying, abuse, rigidity, vanity, rebelliousness, humiliation, self-importance, laziness. This feels like an energy here where, and this is my opinion, like I said, we know how she went. It feels like it's a situation where it's like, I cannot show my face. The humiliation became so much to the point where, she could have possibly did, what she did. But I do feel like a broken heart also played into it as well. But there may possibly, because again, with her Mars being on the 8th degree of open enemies, we could even maybe go as far as saying someone was possibly about to embarrass her, humiliate her with some sort of information. Of course, the 6th house is the house of, like I said, health, routine. Okay. Of course, I think they say she died from drugs, right? Drugs is more of a Neptunian 12th house type of thing, my opinion. Which actually we got something. Her Neptune in Scorpio, which is interesting because we could probably say that she probably experimented maybe quite a bit when it pertains to drugs, especially with it being in the 8th house. But I actually have seen before the 8th house may even be one prone to doing black magic, if the Neptune is there, doing black magic or being a victim of black magic. Maybe her lover, a lover that maybe we didn't know, because the sixth house doesn't really give me that vibe. And whoever this lover is of hers would have been famous because Leo's there. Venus is in Leo. Maybe not super famous, but who knows? I haven't looked at the degree yet. But either way, and it's on 11th. It's on an 11th degree, so this would be a rich, somebody rich, definitely. Okay, like I said, they could have been famous, but I'm getting pharmaceuticals, drug dealer. So we could even possibly say that maybe, it may have been one of those things where she made a phone call when it pertains to this rich lover who, I say pharmaceuticals, but maybe they were just like a drug dealer. So she may have called this lover. Maybe unless the lover knew that there was something humiliating that was about to come out when it pertains to her. But I would say that this person may have actually supplied her with the drugs. But we will probably never get the truth about this, because guess what? The last part that needs to connect in this, if you can see this, I'm actually going to make it bigger if I can. Hold on. I can. The last part of this, whenever it pertains to, you see how her Mars right here, see how her Mars right here is connecting to her Venus, and her Venus is connecting to her Scorpio and Neptune. However, her Neptune and her Mars are not making an aspect. So this is my opinion. I don't think we're ever really going to get the truth as to what really happened in that bathroom. But my assumption would be a lover fed her the drugs. Scorpio is water. Scorpio is depth. Scorpio is, maybe we could say that like the bottom of the ocean could maybe be very Scorpio in nature, because we don't have a clue how many creatures or how many things or animals, whatever you want to say, is living at the bottom of the ocean. We just don't have a clue. And we could say that because Scorpio has a lot of depth to it. Out of all the water signs, I would say Scorpio, a lot of depth. It takes a long time to break through those layers. And then once you think you're broken, it still isn't broken. So there is something very underhanded here, I would say, whenever it pertains to her death. Of course, drowning. I mean, I'm trying to be as sensitive as I can, people. Scorpio, Neptune. Yeah. But this is my opinion again, allegedly. I would possibly say that the lover who fed her the drugs, also saw her in that bathtub. They possibly saw her, drowning, but they didn't. Well, they damn sure didn't call 911, or maybe they were the person. Oh, I don't know. Maybe they saw it, but they had somebody else do it. Remember, there's this energy here with her where it gives me a lot of have somebody else do it. Somebody else needs to do it. Okay. So, and again, like I said, with the sixth house not being a very public house, I would say in some type of a manner, this lover could have possibly been hidden. Again, they would be rich, come from estates. They may possibly have a rich father or something like that. I'm hearing they themselves may possibly be a Leo or an Aquarius, maybe. But they would be from the same social group as her. And it's weird, I just said that because the Venus is also squaring Saturn. She left behind a partner. We're not talking about Bobby Brown. I don't think so, but it could be, of course, But I would say possibly that she left behind somebody. But I think this person, whoever is signified by Venus, I think they know more than what they're willing to admit. I'm telling you, I have a feeling that this person, either she may have asked them to do it in terms of put me under, hence the water. And look, her Chiron is in water as well. She would need, again, if this was me kind of talking to her early on in terms of her chart, I would say just be careful when it comes to water. Just be careful about that. But that would be my assumption here. I think she may have actually possibly told them or told him, this lover, put me under. That's why I said I feel that something may have been coming. There was some type of humiliating situation that she may have gotten wind of, and it was just going to be too much to bear. I don't know if I could say that this person, did away with her. I don't think I could say that. I think they contributed to it though, but we won't ever figure out who this person is because look, this person is squaring the Saturn in the 12th. So I said she died of a broken heart. I also do feel like in some type of a manner, somebody was there with her. And this is just going based off of the chart. I didn't pull a chart based off of the actual time that they said that she was gone, but this is just in the chart here. Some sort of loss was going to be suffered when it possibly pertains to partners in general with her. A heavy loss. She was possibly going to lose her partner to drugs, or she was going to be lost to drugs and leave a partner behind. Don't necessarily mean husband, because her Jupiter is right here. Her Jupiter is hitting her Venus. So yeah, maybe she had two people. Who knows? Two partners. Who knows? Okay. But either way, so I got way off the script because I just saw that and that was interesting. Okay. But either way, this was going to be a close call type of energy here, like bad influence, maybe in a way when it pertains to possibly her partners. But we have Virgo, and I think she has her Mercury in Virgo, which is at home. Not shocking that she had a way with words, but the thing is her Mercury conjuncts her Pluto, which I'm going to look at in just a second. But anyway, so I'm going to read more of the description whenever it pertains to her Libra Mars. It's at the 8th degree. And by the way, guys, the PDF for the in-depth degrees, I actually just added it to the website. So you can go and download that PDF. I put it on there earlier today. Okay. And it's about 942 pages worth of full length description. So you just pick whichever author or whichever one resonates with you more. I don't know which one I'm using, but I'm on page 377. So whatever author is tied to that, then those are the ones that I'm using. So Libra, this will be the 8th to 9th degree Libra. This native is most likely to love silently. Their feelings are often deep and sensitive, but unexpressed. Since they are unexpressed, they are also likely to be underdeveloped. There is more longing for experience there. There is more longing for experience. There is actual experience in interacting with people. There is a waiting to be noticed by others. However, there is great hesitancy to be involved even when the native is invited to participate. This withdrawal causes a fantastic amount of pain. He usually withdraws into a dream world. Not shocking. Not shocking. Okay. There's times when he is quite active socially, but only withholds his feelings where he wishes most to express them. In either instance, it comes about because of fear of being wrong or being rebuffed where it would hurt the most. But I talked about that anyway when we went over our astrology and numerology guide and we talked about the highlights associated with the number 9. Remember, I said it is an energy here where you may be a perfectionist, and the degree itself pretty much breaks it down more in depth than what I said about kind of just like you don't put yourself out there because you don't want to be humiliated. You want people to love you. You don't want people to reject you. So we would possibly insecurity. Definitely. We could say that that was probably a big challenge when it came to Whitney Houston during that time. And that's me again reading deeper into her Libra Mars. Okay. Now, since we're kind of off that a little bit, let's look at her first initial. Now, her first initial is W. W, I believe, is Saturn, Capricorn, I think, to be more specific. But we're going to look. So W is Aquarius, okay? Saturn, Aquarius, of course. So we're going to look at her Saturn and her Uranus because Aquarius has a co-ruler. So I know I didn't bring this up last time, but I think it fits here. So if your first initial is tied to Scorpio, then you should look at Mars, but also look at its co-ruler of Pluto. If your first initial is tied to Aquarius, K or W, then you should look at your Saturn plus your Uranus. Okay. So now with the W, it represents eccentric, unpredictable changes. There's that rebellion energy again in reformation. Okay. Now, since we have that, let's take a look. Her Saturn is in the 12th. All right. And Aquarius actually can be, I think, music, if I'm not mistaken. Aquarius, musicians, the author, the engineer, computers, internet, advisor, astrologer, scientist, and inventor. So we have that part. We're going to look at the degree in just a second. But we can even probably say her talent was probably her biggest burden, especially with her Saturn being in the 5th. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Again, especially with her, not talent, well, either way, especially with her being as talented as she was, it was her biggest burden. I don't even know if it would even possibly be a blessing at this point. It just seems very burdensome, even though her Saturn is technically, in a way, at home in Aquarius. It is sitting opposite her Leo sun, which Saturn and Leo, or Saturn and the sun, they're not friends. They don't gel. I've talked about it before. Saturn is Kronos, who is the father to Zeus. Zeus, I think at one point, didn't Zeus pretty much betray his father? I mean, that probably was a bad example, but you get the point. They don't get along. A lot of it has to do with the fact of Leo, the lion heart. Leo also is tied to the 5th house of children. Children want to play. They don't really want responsibility. So I would say for her, this was way too big of responsibility. And I could actually see some resentment, possibly towards her father. Probably more so towards her father than her mother. In a way, she may have felt like her mother used her, maybe she felt like her mother kind of like used her talent or her burden as a way to help her get free from her father. Her father may have been unhealthy for her because, again, she's in her W, or her Saturnian placement, which is my theory of it, can show like your career or what career will be good for you. Her Saturn is in her 12th house, but also it protected her from him, maybe abusive father, possibly if her father and her mother weren't necessarily married. I bet you she could have had a stepmother. Okay, may not have necessarily liked that. Because there's like two people right here. It feels like these two people right here are talking to her. We have Sun, Venus, and then they're talking to this Saturn right here in the 12th house. Okay. But maybe in a way, the Saturn in the 12th house, and also since it is in a sign that it pretty much feels at home in, this could have kept you out of jail right here. Kept you out of jail, or kept you out of, maybe just kept you out of trouble, period. We could say men kept her out of trouble. Because I don't know if she had a close call when it pertains to, it doesn't have to be actual jail. It could be some sort of facility. Okay. But I think she was put in a facility, but if she was put in a facility, a man put her there. It wasn't her mother, because her mother, again, at one point, I feel like her mother used her talent to help her get away from this guy or this man, until her mother possibly became the issue, until her mother possibly became the detriment to, or unless her mother forced her purpose upon her. So her destiny planet, with it being in the 12th, it was going to be a hard destiny anyway, which sucks for her. That's why I said I kind of get that vibe where it was a burden. It was going to be tough for her either way because of where it's at. But also at the same time, it served as somewhat of a protector. So we can't just say it's all bad. Okay. It did her Saturn, as we can see. So like I said, music. So she's on brand there, musicians. Okay. But in some type of a manner, we can even possibly say that she probably wanted to be a quiet musician, or the music that she wanted to do seems more so pop, eccentric, flashing lights, maybe earth, wind, and fire type of vibes. Okay, that may have been, but the mother, remember, the mother does play a part in this, and probably the father. Because maybe in a way, I don't know, Saturn may be seen as somewhat of like melancholy, okay? Because Saturn is cold, dry. I mean, I don't know if it's real cold or dry in real life, but you get the point. So I would say when it pertains to her, more upbeat, more pop, more that kind of, I'm trying to think of a good person. I don't want to say Taylor Swift, but Jesus, no, not that. But you guys get what I'm saying. That may have been more the thing that she wanted to do, but the 12th house seems just like very like violins, almost funeral music. Like, why is this so sad? However, that would have been the music that would have amused the public. Music worth tears. But for her, it drove her into a mental, psychological prison, singing those songs. That's why I said her talent may have been her biggest burden. Where does the blessing come from? Well, the blessing will come from if she was able to do it the way she wanted to. But her mother, I think, made a push here. Okay? Be more sad. Hopefully it wasn't a situation where they are creating scenarios, real life scenarios around her for her to be sad, for her to get into this particular type of energy. Yeah, maybe. They may have created detriment around her in order to pull this out, because I would possibly guess that the songs that she wrote that were up there high, that was probably one of the biggest songs known to man, came from detriment. Maybe even sometimes me thinking either maybe she used to hide in the closet, whether she was younger or older, but she may have possibly used to hide in the closet. Okay. Yeah, definitely when it pertains to drugs, drugs was going to be her, I can't necessarily say downfall, but it was definitely going to be that thing that she needed to heal from, a lot of healing from. Okay. But again, so let's look at her Saturn degree and make this smaller. Her Saturn is on 19 degrees and it's retrograde. 19 degrees is tied to the degree of Libra. Okay. So I'm going to give you the short version and the long version. So the 19th degree of Aquarius says, disposition, endurance, contented mind, solitary, philosophical, patient. Didn't I just say I feel like she may have possibly locked herself in the closet? Or honestly, with her Saturn squaring her Venus, she may have literally been in the actual closet if we're talking about sexuality, because her Saturn hits her Venus. But you see, it's opposite. It's opposite. It's opposite. It's opposite. Probably scrutinized very heavily by a father or some sort of man. It feels like a taunting type of thing. Almost like, I mean, hopefully that wasn't going to be like what they were going to get her, but I don't think so. I mean, that wouldn't be that bad. But then again, she comes from a very religious background, so you just never know. Okay. Her Jupiter, oh, well, I'll get there in a second, because her Jupiter is squaring her North Node. This is her purpose. North Node is purpose. Saturn is destiny. Her Jupiter, which is also conjunct her Aries moon, is squaring her purpose in the 5th house. Fame is not fun. Fame was not fun. I already called it here before I even looked here. But her purpose was to be a household name, because Cancer is the house, it's the home. The 5th house is your fame because it belongs to Leo, naturally speaking. But it also is children, it's pleasure, it's romance. Okay. My opinion, I would say that the fifth house is probably more so one night stand than the eighth house. The eighth house is very intimate, close type of sexual experiences. The fifth house of Leo is so hit it and quit it energy to me. Okay. So, I don't really see, I mean, probably a very, very spontaneous marriage, if we're going to be honest, a very, very spontaneous husband. But also, she may have felt like that her husband wanted to take her spotlight. See, that's where the vanity comes into play. Okay. Because as a wife, she actually may have been quite jealous, and that may have shown in the public because Venus is the wife when we're talking about a man's chart. Okay. Jupiter is the husband. So with Jupiter in her first, almost going into her second, a husband is very selfish. Yeah. But again, we'll get there in a second. Where was I going? Yes. So it's weird how I said here, solitary, but she may have been in the closet when it pertains to her, sexuality. Okay. Her lover. Okay. May have definitely been in the closet. That could be a possible assumption here. So let me give you the long version when it pertains to Saturn on the 19th degree in Aquarius. So we have, so this would be 19 to 20. Yes. This degree shows characteristics similar to Scorpio. The native may go through the fires of hell and rise up and walk away like the phoenix rising out of his own ashes. There's a fantastic regenerative ability. Usually, if not always, there is a lifetime thrown to him by someone else. Didn't I call it, people? Just as he may be about to go under, a friend, okay, we're on to something. A friend is going to sustain him. There are unusual intellectual and intuitive abilities coupled with the arts. Abilities as an accountant, statistical researcher are also pronounced. He radiates an aura of confidence, commanding respect without being overbearing, which may make him feared because of lack of understanding. The key to his real strength lies in his keen, intuitive insight. Lack of self-confidence may hold him back, but never defeat him. He may be very influential in presenting great wisdom in simple language so as to be understood by everyone. He goes to the heart of the matter, noting obvious truth. However, that last part, I'm going to dispute it a little bit because, like I said, it's opposite his Venus in the sixth house. And normally, the sixth house is tied to Virgo. Venus is at fall in Virgo. So it's like Venus, even though it's in Leo and it's not in detriment or fall, technically, Venus is losing its strength here in this sixth house. Okay. So temptation. Definitely. Tempting when it comes to sexuality, maybe by a friend. You heard what the degree says. It says, just as he may be about to go under, a friend is sent to sustain him. Friend may have been gay. There's nothing wrong with that. But for her, it is something wrong with that. Because it confines her, it puts her in solitary type of confinement. It gives her these possible intrusive thoughts, kind of like, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling that way? I'm feeling wrong. Da, 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 da. That's why I said maybe, allegedly, she could have actually been in the closet with a friend. Maybe. Okay? Can't be 100% so sure on that, but it's just best guess. All right. And so it looks like her Saturn is also hitting her moon. We're at 52 minutes. I need to get on with it. Her Saturn is also hitting her moon, I think. I'm trying to see. Moon sextile. Okay. So we can say moon and Saturn are making an aspect to one another, trying to be in agreement. The thing is, her moon is in Aries. Okay. Impulsiveness, definitely. Her mom probably was quite impulsive, maybe even erratic in some type of a manner. Her mom could have been very selfish to the point where she knew that her talent was her detriment. She knew her talent was her prison, but I don't give a shit because it's not about you, honey. It's about me. Her mom may have possibly been determined to make her the first real musician, if that makes sense. And I'm talking real in a manner of known, because the moon is the masses. Okay. We talked about that. I would say her and her mom had a hot and cold possible relationship as well. And the thing is, she may not have even, maybe her mom didn't really tell her that she loved her. That can do a lot to somebody's psyche, to be honest, especially if this is the person that you want the approval from. Okay. But at one point, like I said, her mom was helping her in a way where it feels like she was trying to get her out of like some sort of bad situation or bad energy. I mean, honestly, I don't know, but maybe Whitney Houston may have been in with a bad crowd. And maybe that's where her mom stepped into play and kind of just like, we need to change the trajectory. I know you have this talent. I know you can sing. Even if her rebelliousness energy came in and said, no, I really don't want to. But so we could possibly say in some type of a manner, her mom may have tried to save her from herself by not, going down the wrong path, but you knew she didn't want to do it because her destiny is in the house of the 12. And it's a shame that she has to almost be put on a spit in a manner to achieve her destiny. That sucks. Hence, the degree says she could have did good when it came to accountant or a statistician or a statistical researcher. Maybe she could have avoided that, but that's not what her mother wants. Look, her mother is hitting the public. Her mother is hitting her 10th house. So her mother was going to be involved in her career, I guess, regardless. But this one, it just like, no. So I know that was a long-winded answer when it pertains to her first initial, but we pretty much got that. But I already said it was going to be a detriment, okay, which sucks. It sucks because it's like, man, why do I have to be good at this? Why couldn't it be something else? I kind of get that. But I would say her mother it looks like her moon is squaring her north node, and the nodes are, well, these are the moon's nodes. That's where north node, south node comes from. The moon's nodes. Okay. So the moon is squaring its node. So, it's like her mother is going to choose her purpose. I'm going to choose your purpose, which means my choice is you're going to be a household name. You're going to be famous. Even though her mother doesn't realize that you're contributing to her downfall in a way when it pertains to her destiny. Okay. She may have possibly had an eye for photography. This is my guess. She may have possibly had an eye when it pertained to pictures. So she could even possibly maybe been like maybe an actual photographer, possibly. Okay. Maybe she may have also lost things quickly as well. She has her second house is in Aries, which we know second house rules the voice. So, and remember, we talked about it, Aries, Mars. Her Mars is debilitated in detriment in Libra. So that losing the voice, which I actually kind of sort of talked about that in a manner, I think at the beginning, that losing the voice type of thing right here. Remember I said possibly prone to maybe black magic being done against you, or you're the one doing black magic. Okay, I don't know which way it would be in this instance. She may have tried like those drugs that take you to another world, like the drug that Heath Ledger died from. She may have possibly experimented with that. Hopefully that wasn't the drug that, unfortunately killed her. I don't know what they said the final the final coroner report was from that. I haven't looked. So I'm not sure about that one. But like I said, this Neptune in the 8th house is really just kind of getting under my skin a little bit, to be honest. And by the way, her last name is Houston. H is tied to what? Scorpio, which means towards the end of her life, we need to look at, I'm telling you, somebody has something on her. My opinion. Somebody has something on her because remember, her Mars is sitting on a degree that says open enemies, and her Mars is in a house of open enemies. Somebody had something on her. And it just became too much on top of the fact of feeling alone. But I really don't necessarily think that she was alone. Again, I do feel like that her partner, whoever the hell this person was, because I don't know the time that they found out that she passed away, but my guess would be that maybe the partner may have been with her, because I do feel like possibly they would have fed her something, because the end of her life, her H, based off of my theory, the end of her life, her H is what? It is making an aspect to this partner, this Venus energy, who's also making an aspect to her Scorpio Neptune. Something in her is awry, but we'll never know, because this 8th house Scorpio Neptune is so hidden. It's so hidden. Okay. And this could even possibly be somebody that they've shown their face before. And I don't know who the hell this person is, but they've shown their face before in the public. We've laid our eyes on this person. I just don't know who they are. Okay. But yeah. And maybe to them, they may have felt like they were doing her a favor. Maybe they experimented with drugs together. It just went too bad. Okay. Either way, they probably are younger because, again, like I said, Leo is tied to the 5th house. Leo is also children. So they probably are younger. Hopefully this was not an inappropriate relationship we got going on here, people, or I would crash. But I cannot rule it out. Okay, I can't rule it out. So let's look at her. We already know what her Mars is. Let's look at her Pluto. Her Pluto is in Virgo, of course, that's generational, but we're going to see what degree it's on. Her Pluto is on the 11th degree and is in the house of what? Open enemies. I'm telling you, somebody was dangling something over her head, in my opinion. So, Virgo, 11 degrees. We have astrology, seductive influence, entanglement. Booyah. Boo freaking yah. Maybe, didn't I just say? Maybe there's two. She got entangled in something no bueno. Something that she was something that she was gonna need to definitely heal from. But we can also say her partners definitely get her entangled in drugs, or vice versa. It may be her. I don't know. It would depend on, I guess, their composite chart together. But again, with it being in the 7th house, it's almost just like, yeah, maybe her. Maybe she talked her partners into drugs, or somebody talked somebody into drugs here. Like, just try it. Just a taste. And boom, now you're hooked. You know? Which sucks, because again, her Pluto is hitting opposite her ascendant as well as her Chiron. You know, Pisces is also music, but we know Pisces is creativity. Pisces is also spirituality. Okay, even if it possibly comes to a energy where maybe she tries to turn to her spirituality to help her get herself out of a hole, it's hard for her to do that cleanly. It's difficult. Okay. Yeah, and of course we know Pisces alcohol. I mean, that could possibly make sense while you're drinking in public, okay, in excess. But you know, in it's so weird. Maybe her relationship started from an entanglement, kind of like Will Jada and August Alsina. Maybe her relationships actually started from that foundation, an entanglement. But it's not like it would be hidden. Like, she may be somebody who's kind of bold. It's kind of just like, look, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, husband, may be standing right next to you. She don't care. Hey, let me talk to you. I think you're cute. Hey, I like you. That may be the type of energy we're looking at here. Very bold. Very bold. Okay. But that also ties into that compassion, that fire, that Mars type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And maybe that's why people loved her, for her boldness, but also for her, you know, for her compassion. What was the other words? Her selflessness, or possibly maybe more so just for her inspiration. I can't tell if her Pluto is squaring her Sagittarius midhaven. Okay. Now, I would say this with her Mercury, which is already at home in Virgo, with her Mercury kind of conjuncting her Pluto, bad business deals, this one. Bad business deals. Okay. Entangled in that type of stuff. And honestly, she may have actually signed a contract with somebody that was actually her enemy, and she thought that they were that they were her friend. And that's the unfortunate, because they probably took advantage of her, maybe. Um ascendant, ascendant in, what is it? Ascendant in 8 degrees Pisces. Oh, I didn't read. Well, I guess it's okay. Let's see. Ascendant 8 degrees Pisces, which is again on a Saturnian degree. I mean, I don't think I've really seen so much karma. It's terrible. I don't think I've really seen so much karma so far. Okay. Her moon, there it is. There's that fame energy I've kind of been looking for. I mean, it was going to happen anyway because her North Node is in the 5th. But there's that fame energy I was looking for. Her moon is on Aries at 17 degree, which is a Leo degree. Okay. But either way, so Pisces, 8 degrees. Let's see. The 8th degree of Pisces says remarkable fortunes, adventurous, an uncertain livelihood, power, pilgrimage. It's interesting. She may have definitely really liked traveling. Okay, that could have definitely been her thing. But maybe because her Pisces natural ruler is Jupiter. Okay, but also it has a co-ruler of Neptune. Neptune is again in the 8th. Jupiter is in the 1st. This feels like your husband is a hitchhiker. So in some type of a manner, I mean, I guess I'll have to read the Jupiter degree, but again, selfish. The husband maybe possibly entered the marriage for selfish reasons, but maybe she knew, or maybe he knew. Okay, could be that, I don't know. She's only been married once, so that would probably be Bobby Brown that I'm talking about. But like I said, I would have to look at her composite chart with him.